My name is Mark Story. I am a sports columnist for the Lexington Herald-Leader, the newspaper in Lexington, Kentucky. I have worked for the Herald-Leader since August of 1990. I started out, I went to college and majored in English and history. My plan was to go to law school. I got accepted to the UK law school, but then I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. My parents were down with that. They just said I had to get a job. So I actually taught school for a year here in Hardin County. I taught health at Radcliffe Middle School, and my parents had been teachers, and it was sort of the family business, and I wanted to try to do something, sort of strike out on my own. I'd always loved sports. I wasn't a very good athlete in high school. I ran a little cross country, wasn't very good, but maybe didn't get it out of my system. But I also had always loved writing. I loved reading. So sports writing, it sort of combined my interest. I had worked at the News Enterprise here in E-Town when I was 19 years old. My boss at the time tried to start a sports magazine here in Hardin County. I was young and could work for basically nothing, so I worked for him for a year. When that didn't work out, he called the Herald-Leader. He knew the sports editor and said, I have somebody that is promising that you all should be interested in. And they were so impressed with me that they hired me to come in and answer the phones. But it got my foot in the door. And I did that for a couple of years, and anytime they would give me a chance to write, I took it. Any chance I had to show that I could do more, I always took it. Eventually I started covering small colleges, like Georgetown and Campbellsville and those kind of colleges, and that was really fun, and it gave me a chance to write. And for whatever reason, my boss at the Herald-Leader at the time, Gene Abel, saw something in me and gave me a lot of chances to show that I could be like an investigative reporter, an enterprise reporter. And I did that and had some success and won some awards and sort of built a reputation. And in 2001, I became a sports columnist, and I've been doing that ever since. I pretty much was raised in the Hardin County schools because my dad, the late Ray Story, was the principal at North Hardin. My mom, Sue Story, taught English at North Hardin and later at Central Hardin. I went to Vine Grove Elementary, I went to James T. Alton Middle School, and I'm a 1982 graduate of North Hardin. It's probably not surprising for someone who went on to become a writer, but English teachers were really important in my development. I'll never forget my junior year, we had some kind of assignment to write a paper. I don't remember what I wrote, but I do remember what my teacher, Bettina Marple, wrote on it when she gave it back to me. And she wrote that, Mark, you have a gift for writing that with polish could be outstanding. Now, I can't say at that moment I decided to become a writer, but I never forgot that. My senior year English teacher, Miss Ann Case, had sort of identified me as somebody that procrastinated a little bit and had to be right on a deadline to sort of get going. And she said if I didn't get better at that, that could be a weakness or it was something I would have to work on my whole life. I don't know that I ever got better on it, but I did go into a profession where there is a hard deadline every day, so I'm always on deadline. And the media now is ever changing. I mean, it's just complete flux. The skills that I developed, I'm a really good reporter, I hope, and a really good writer, I hope. But if you're interested in the media now, you need all of that, but you need to be able to design web pages and websites and shoot and edit video, and it's just changing so much that probably the best advice for anybody that's interested in my profession as it exists now is you need to be tremendously versatile and be able to work across platforms. My first job at the Herald-Leader, my technical title, I was the agate clerk. Essentially, I answered the phones, the small type, the scores, I was responsible for all that. And yeah, I was making less than $16,000 a year. I have no idea how I lived in Lexington, on that. In fact, my grandmother would every week she would send me a card that would have $5 in it. And if she ever skipped a week, by Saturday sometimes I couldn't eat. So that card was really important. But I took that job when I was young because I wanted to get my foot in the door, and I was, just desperate to have a chance to show what I could do. And if that was what I had to do to get a chance to write, I was willing to do it. Now, as for the future of the media, industry, it's very difficult to know because it's changing so fast and changing, over and over. 10 years ago, and I don't think anybody would have envisioned, how it exists now with, digital and the internet and all that. I personally think everything is going to converge together, that your TV stations and your newspapers are all going to sort of, if not merge, they're all going to wind up sort of doing the same thing. The challenge for us, we have more readership than we've ever had at the Lexington Herald-Leader. You combine the people that still buy our paper with the people that read our internet site, it's just not as profitable so far, internet advertising as the old print advertising was. So the challenge has been to come up with a business model that will support traditional journalism.